Hello everyone and welcome back to Greyhammer. We're going to get started on finishing up this building, starting with the area for the Tasmanian Devil. Sorry that this part was in two parts. I think in the future I'm going to try better to edit it down into one part, because I've gotten some comments wanting to see cinematics, which cinematics don't make sense if the building's not complete really, so there are cinematics at the end of this video, and I'll be trying to edit it down in the future. Long videos don't seem to do super well either, so, you know, it's just trying to find that balance. So we're working on that, but just kind of doing a stone floor in here, very similar to how I did on the outside, because I just wanted to make it look pretty realistic to what, like, you might find in a regular zoo with the fake stone walls. So that's kind of the idea here. I really like the mural as well. And then I just put some of those rock piles in. Rock piles cover quite a bit of anything that doesn't quite look like what it was supposed to. And then just kind of putting staff buildings in, which, believe it or not, the pathing in the game wasn't working great for me. And this is kind of one of the problems why one of the reasons why I wasn't a big fan of this building structure is I didn't plan for staff buildings as well as I should have. So definitely we'll be working on improving that in the future. I kind of make a double wall here because I just feel like it looks better on the outside to be this wood. It just looks better compared to the rest of the building. And then I kind of put this inner plaster wall to continue that in. The continuation of the rest of the building. Sorry. My brain was trying to realize what was happening. Sometimes the game just does not like me and was rotating the piece wrong, so I was fixing that. Unfortunately, these all don't fit together super nicely, so I just kind of bring those and then put a few backstage area things in. I'm still trying to get better at interiors, just make them make a little bit more sense. This is my attempt to make a kind of custom, like water heater, water temperature regulator, filter. I looked at outlet and that was what came up, and I don't feel like that looks like a particularly convincing outlet. But now I'm going to start working on the roof. This was definitely one of the larger sections that was difficult to work on. So at first I was going to just do a flat roof, but with some glass on the top. But you'll see that changes over time. And I'm also just kind of putting some habitat information boards in as well. And now we're going to start working on the little penguin habitat. So gonna start making this rock wall similar to what I did for the dingoes, but just kind of making a little embankment that will hold the penguins in. I don't finish this little viewing area in this video. I'm probably going to finish it in stream, which I'll be doing tonight, with sort of the idea of getting ready for an Australia tour, because we're almost there. I got one more building to finish. I finished the building. I got one more video to edit the recordings for. So we're just kind of working on that. And so I want to do a whole tour of this area. And that will be I need to finish up a few things, like this viewing area. I need to put in foliage and gardens into all these different spots. But here I am just kind of covering up all this dirt with rocks, because the dirt texture doesn't look the best, but this rock texture works really, really well. So just kind of trying to create some sort of rock formation here. And you'll see the dirt at the top that will get changed eventually. Here I was trying to create a little viewing window through there, but I realized it was too tall, so I just kind of changed it to null. or actually I think I changed it to wooden barriers because wooden barriers the guests won't pretend like they can see through. So here we are, kind of just putting some rock formations in. Once I kind of created them, I started using them over and over again, which is kind of helpful. But you gotta be careful not to have too many repeating patterns. I kind of put these rock formations in, and a lot of them are gonna have to get tweaked later once the habitat is complete. Because in case you didn't realize, the water section for the penguins is very high elevated compared to the ground section, so we're going to have to put some kind of ramp to let them up, which I end up being pretty happy with. I really like this enclosure. You're going to see it in the cinematics, and I think it looks really good in the cinematics. Viewing dome, our first one in the zoo, which works pretty well. I think I went to go put some rock piles in, and I was not a fan of them. Also, sorry for this long pause. I thought I'd exited all of those out. So I kind of... Actually, I think there weren't any rock... That's what the long pause was, is I was trying to see if there were any on the blueprint that matched. They weren't. So I was trying to color match them, which I think I did pretty well. So... Here we are just kind of putting a bunch of these rock piles in. I wanted to have the idea of like a rocky coastline for them, which is based off of some things that I have seen for their habitat, with a bunch of volcanic rock. So yeah, just a lot of rock piles, and I'm just trying to figure out how many I can have in here, which I think we can have a really large penguin flock. I think they actually might be called a school. At least if they're in the water. I'm not sure. My penguin biology is not quite up to point. So I kind of put a bunch of these rocks in, lower them. Found out those looked a little bit too repetitive, so kind of sunk in a few more. But they kind of have an open area and a closed area in their enclosure with just the amount of rocks you got in there. I probably need to create a barrier around there as well, but here I am starting to work. I thought I cut all the management parts out. My bad. Sorry, guys. But, a short stint. Putting some staff in, because I'm going to have to be figuring out, with the platypus, trying to figure out their traversable area. Because they're going to be the most complicated ones. And just a little bit of staff management. No big deal. And then some plants in for the penguins, which is, I didn't want to put too many plants in, just some of the coastal dog face and some of the underwater plants. Make it look not super, like, completely no plants, but I did want a few, I didn't want it to be too many plants. So here I go, started creating this ramp for the penguins out of twilight pieces, which worked pretty well. These boards are nice and pretty. Sorry if there's a little bit of zoo management in the middle, because I kind of ran out of money, so I was having to have everything on play. Unfortunately, they don't use that jetty, and they don't use this underwater filter feeder. It's really unfortunate how finicky their terrain situation is, but can't be too mad about it. More about the underwater diving, I should say. I wish there are ways to... Oh, and someone in stream, I don't remember whose, apologies, said we should net in the enclosure because of birds of prey, and I didn't net in the entire enclosure because I felt like from the top would probably deter most birds of prey. Wouldn't need one from the side as much, but here I go, start putting penguins in, putting donation boxes in, because you know, you need that for guests. And this time lapse is going to be longer than I thought originally, but here I am just trying to figure out how to get the bridge to where the penguins can climb, but then also not escape. So I think they can climb and get in once I put this next ramp in. Unfortunately that they needed it, but it's fine. So now I had to figure out how to make it so that they couldn't get out. And turns out the little penguins are pretty good little escape artists. But I tweak it well enough so where they can't get through. And then I just kind of tweak the floor. Bring these pillars down. I really like this blueprint that I used. I'm trying to remember who it was from. Let me see. I can pull it up really in real time. Super professional while we work on these rocks and just kind of making the water clear. It's by Haribo, the modular netting set. He's got the other one, but I didn't have enough funds for it. Maybe when I do my other zoo that I'm going to be creating isn't going to have stuff like that. I'll probably look at it and use parts from it later on because it looks really good. Yeah, I'd like to maybe build a whole building around that set, but it's like $50,000, so we'll see. Apologies for this screen. Golly, I thought I cut all this out. I'm so sorry. But, yeah. What happened was I got a bug where it was not logging my, refreshing my animals, which was not something I wanted to deal with. So working on the platypus enclosure is, and then starting to work on the roofing, but then I decided not to. You can really see my ADHD come out in builds. It's quite a problem. I'm just kind of creating a reed back for the wall here, at least to imply that there's concrete behind it as well, so that because that wood would not do well in water, just won't last long. So I'm just kind of putting a lot of this underwater hydrilla. I think it looks really good, and just kind of putting a bunch of rocks in as well. Kind of trying to make this look like a riverbed. Let me know what you think it looks like in the end. Also, this was just kind of crazy when I was doing this stream. I was taking my dog to the vet in the middle of it, so apologies for all these pauses because vets were calling me and stuff. And once you speed it up in 10 times, then you start losing different like small details, like small pauses that you would normally notice. Here I am just kind of creating a plant wall at the top here. All the plants are up high so that the Tasmanian Devils can't burrow and do stuff like that to them. I'm trying to make my exhibits a little bit more realistic. There's still going to be things like having tropical plants outdoors. But on the plus side, our climate is subtropical, so my reasoning is that most plants will be able to grow in the climate that my zoo is built. We kind of based some of the enclosures off of the Houston Zoo, aka just one, and it wasn't that close. But I kind of got the idea that this was in like Texas, in a kind of subtropical area that we would be able to grow both temperate and tropical plants. So pretty nice. I hate roofs. Can I just say that? I really suck at building roofs, and yeah. I think our next build will actually has one of the best roofs I've ever done, and one roof that I will never build again because it was so difficult to do. But It looks pretty good in my opinion. It's just I need to start improving on working on my... I need to make my flat roofs look better. I don't know how to do that exactly. Any tips in the comments would be much appreciated for that. But I'm just kind of putting in some facilities in the back here, and then start putting in these roofs. I really hate the way that those lines kind of come in every single time I create these roofs, so I'm hoping that we can work on making better kind of roofing materials. Here I kind of try and solve the flat roof problem by having a bit of a raised section, but I don't think it 100% solves this problem. And here's my making the next part of the roof, which I actually think looks pretty good. It's very similar to what we've already made, so it's not like it's the most complicated thing in the world, but just kind of creating those, and then we're just going to place these pieces in, but I didn't want it to be on the grid because grid sucks. If you don't have to put it on the grid, don't put it on the grid. Here I am kind of putting these walls together, and they don't work out great. There's going to be a lot of work on the roof from here on out. So if you don't like watching me struggle with roofing, I'm sorry, but that's what this rest of this stream is going to be. So this part is where I'm not struggling with roofing, where I really get all this correct. Also, apologies, you're not going to see me finish that little awning, I think it would be called. The triangle part between the flat roof and the regular roof. Unfortunately, I do not finish it in this stream, but the cinematics does have it fixed. It's really tough for me. I'm still learning how to complete everything, because when I used to play Planet Zoo, I never completed things. It just wasn't something I did, or I never built complicated buildings. All of the above. Just trying to figure out how I was gonna make the roof here. I decided to just go with it and create this fancy little pattern in the middle. It kind of works as a skylight still. And then just kind of put some pillars in to make it look a little bit more supported. Again, when I do the tidying up live stream tonight, we're going to be putting some gardens on the side because it's looking pretty bare. Here was where I struggled a lot with what I was going to do, but you're seeing the non-struggling as much. Now it's still just me off the cuff coming up with semi-architectural designs, and kind of failing with that, but this was my kind of interesting roof attempt. So you're gonna see kind of a very weird... I kind of based it off of the roof I did for the Wallaby Walkabout, because I think the roof there was pretty good. This one is not as good maybe, but I think I like it. It's just different. So yeah, just kind of connecting all these pieces. It's difficult. So that's my framing work. And I'm trying to remember if this part actually made it into the final build. I think maybe. It looks like so, because if I haven't deleted... No, I deleted it. So now comes the tricky part, where I'm trying to put all these roofing panels in accurately, which, believe it or not, it's a little bit less frustrating than... using the actual grid pieces that are meant for this. But it takes me a little bit to get used to this kind building at these angles, but eventually I think I get this plastered roof looking pretty good, and I make it dark. I want the idea being that, like, it's hard to see up into the top of the ceiling, maybe making it look a little larger. I know that, like, and it's a large building, but I know that, like, typically white ceilings make a look larger, but I think my idea is, like, having the night sky, because some of the animals are nocturnal, like the Tasmanian Devil. Actually, I think all of the animals in here are nocturnal to some extent. So you've got the bats, you've got the platypus, you've got the Tasmanian Devil, and you've got the little penguin. I'm pretty sure little penguins are also nocturnal. Fun little fact for you, but just kind of finishing up this roof. We're getting near to the end. This just was a bunch of painful putting in roof pieces, but you know, it's all required in a zoo. In Planet Zoo, it is definitely not the most fun thing to do to build roofs. Pretty much in any building game as far as I'm aware. So I kind of try and create, I do weird stuff with this wall if I remember correctly. Yeah, so I'm gonna first put these pieces and then do this little, I don't know why I did that. Highly do not recommend. And then I needed to close this off, so I kind of just put this wood panel in here. And then I had to figure out how to deal with this section. And at first I was going to put a little skylight like you can see here, but the section of geometry was just too complicated, and I'm trying to remember what I did. Oh yeah, I'm going to eventually just replace everything with plastered pillars. Sorry for this pause. Again, awkward pauses. But yeah, I end up just putting some pillars in because I think it looks better. Does it look perfect? No. Unfortunate. But I don't think anything I'm going to build looks 100% perfect. I think it looks significantly better. And we're going to fix that section out there as well. And then kind of bring this piece through in. You know, just little bits of finagling. Which is exactly what Planet Zoo is. Little bits of finagling. And we're kind of getting our way along, putting in those habitat boards. Putting in some education boards just to make this place look a little bit more alive. We might have to do some other things as well in my little tidying up. I'll be figuring out how to do that. That flat roof was really bothering me, so I kind of created a little second floor to it that could be like a sort of facilities area in real life. Unfortunately, the game won't do anything, but here I am just kind of creating apologies. Kind of making the roof look even. I haven't really done too much of that. You get some nice... I think I was giving a tour to someone. Can't believe it made it in. My editing on this one seems to have sucked. Oh, that's why. I didn't edit this second half in the same time that I edited the first half. So, that's really my bad. I don't know what this pause is. It's too long is what it is. I'm really sorry. This video is a little scuffed, but I don't have time to re-record and edit it. That was a long pause. I hope you're still with me, because I would have... that was tough. But yeah, here I am just kind of creating some roof supports. You gotta work with some of the things that Planet Zoo gives you, like, for me to make that angle required me to have something that goes into the wall a little bit, so I'll just make it a feature, not a bug. Tasmanian Devils get introduced in, and I introduced my Platypus, and they hate everything. But here we are into the cinematics, and you can see this is our grand entrance. It's going to have some more gardens in the future, part of that tidying up one. This room, I don't know what I'm going to do with this room. I might do some ticket sales implied, but you've got all these bats flying around in here. I think it looks really cool with all the bats. And then these PVC curtains lead you into these exhibit areas. So you've got your blue-tongued skink, you've got your eastern brown snakes in here. And then if we come along here, we've got our giant burrowing cockroaches. They're kind of hard to see, but I think I saw a few of them. Here you can get a kind of nice look into the eastern brown snake's burrow. And you've got your death adders in here somewhere. Penguins, but they don't really use this area as much as I'd like them to. Also notice that netting is hanging off from the side. We're going to need to find a way to fix that. Probably in our tidying up section. There's our platypus swimming around. Yeah, we had to add a ramp and some different sections to make them more suited to the land section. And then the penguins, which I think are probably one of my favorite animals in this section. They just look really good, and I think the viewing dome works really well with them. No danger with the viewing dome breaking or anything. I know I've had some comments of viewing domes are a cool idea, but if they break and you're in a dangerous animals exhibit, no danger with that with little penguins. So here's our little view from the dome. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode, and I'll leave you with just a few ending shots of these penguins. Bye now.